What's up? What's happening? We out here. We gonna see what's up. What's happening? Come on, follow me. Let's go. Hurry up. Come on. Open this door. Open this door. What's up? Get out the way. Yo, what's happening? Is that streets?
I'm not playing, I'm not playing, I'm not playing, I'm not playing.
Alright, so being in my 20s sucks. I can say that I was ill prepared for this. For a good majority of my life, I was told or shown that becoming older is cool. You can stay up all night, buy whatever you want, be with whoever you want, and do whatever you want, right? But that doesn't outweigh the number of mental gymnastics, a person goes through in their early 20s. And for some reason, it's like a unified, unspoken rule. Like, what the fuck? Like, the fuck? Don't tell the up-and-coming generation what to expect. Let them figure it out. No one told me that a person that is living through their 20s is essentially working for their 30s. This means all the guerrilla work has to be done when you have the youth, time, and desires. Now that sounds amazing, right? But here's what blows me about this process. Some people right now living through it don't realize that they're working for their 30s. And if you realize it too late, then they'll be working for their 40s, 50s, and so on and so forth until you meet whatever God you believe in, right? And I know some people peak in certain stages of their life, which is okay because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Shout out Nipsey. But wouldn't you, as a person who's going through the motion, going through the trenches, want some guidance on what could work if you do these certain steps and maybe you'll get to a point of success, whatever that may be, to the person who's living through their purpose? Right? Makes sense, right? Makes sense, right? Makes sense, right? Just having a reference for those who's already been through it, for their past is our future. Helps lessen the unknownness, pain, and suffering of life, because inevitably all these elements of life will transpire. Still, you'll just be prepared for it and lessen the burden of the chapters that life hands us. But I won't lie though, we the youth play a part in that as well. We're being in our 20s, I've noticed that I have this confidence of knowing nothing, but feeling like I can figure it out. Kind of like a person who is being willfully ignorant. It sounds stupid, because it is, but I can say that it stems from wanting to be independent. Leaving the bird's nest, they call it. But once you leave that nest, all the weights of life fall on you. And you'll have to pursue this journey on your own. Well, not really. You'll always have help, but most of the time, these actions are done by yourself.
There's nothing doper than an old man or an old woman, because they talk to you about life. And they got experience to talk to you about life. You know what the dumbest shit is? Talk to a young person that speaks as if they know about fucking life. You don't know shit, you young dummy. You don't know shit. I'm 43 and I'm still discovering shit. Like, you don't, that's the benefit of being around the older generation, of having a grandma, a grandpa, a fucking aunt. The benefit is getting some life experience and goddamn wealth of knowledge. That's the benefit of it. So I love that throughout my career, throughout my life, my mistakes have been public. And I love that people can see the way that I've handled them and the way that I've attempted to turn around.
I've also noticed that those who are in their early 20s already peaked. For example, I know this person named right, and they're one of the most interesting people I've known. And once you've graduated high school, they essentially stunted. They no longer apply themselves to do anything. They just go to work, sit at home, post these stories on social media about how their life is attesting to nothing but is playing a part into the nothingness, but blames the world for it and waiting for God to hand them a sign. You see how it goes back to entitlement? Go check out that last video. It's like saying I don't have the time for this rather than I haven't made the time for this. Subtle shifts in language and action makes a huge difference. Rather than just projecting blame, just look in the mirror, in which most people in the world can't or won't do, especially for those who are going through it in the gorilla stage of their life, whether it be from the shame they feel or the post-nut clarity of evaluating the flaws of the person they were and realizing what they've become. All falls on them.
That's a hard thing to fucking do. And I ain't looking for no sympathy. I just want to share because I want niggas to know pain that you go through too. You can look at me and see your pain in me. Because ain't none of us exempt from suffering.
Right.
That's all this is about that I'm sharing.
What can I say? This experience we're going through is pretty ghetto. But just like living in the ghetto, you make the best of it. Living out your hobbies, not letting life defeat you. Or even the most recent one that I've been feeling. Feeling like at your age, you haven't accomplished or attested to who your peers are. And I'm not saying the people you know personally, but those you see on movies, television, film, TikTok. I'm not on that shit. I ain't on that shit. Etc. Living life at the same age. It's a fucking trip. Seeing it in real time. For me personally, it's two NBA players, Ja Morant and Luka Doncic. Luka Magic, yeah. He gonna win MVP next year. To see these young men live out their profession on the biggest stage while making generational wealth in the process for playing a child's game. Essentially. I'm not saying it don't take skill, but essentially it's a child's game. It's amazing but sad because I then compare my life to theirs naturally and wonder what I'm doing wrong. And I've come to this conclusion. Nothing. As corny and cliche as it sounds, I'm just living out the journey and figuring it out as I go, like most people in their 20s. It always goes back to working towards something. For it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. People peak at certain stages and descend twice as fast. Some peak and some stay peaking because of talent, consistency, and luck.
That's another root of human struggle, worrying about other people's perceptions about who you are. Like, why would you ever care about that, you know? And I think that I fell victim to that in my past of worrying about things that I can't control. You know, if the people understood what words could do to a human being, especially where we are in today's society, then they wouldn't be invested in that. So I'm not here to dispel anything. You can continue to ask other people around me about what they think about me and continue to write about mood swings. Like, You know, human beings have mood swings. Like you go home and you're not happy with things, or you're mad at something or you're happy. That's a mood swing. It's okay to be human. Like, I don't have to be perfect for anyone here, nor do I have to be perfect for the public. So I'm not here to dispel any perception. I'm just here to be myself.
But you gotta put yourself in these positions to receive that type of energy. And probably, most likely, the universe will listen eventually. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some youngster complaining about first world problems. Ain't that some shit? That shit crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
As you get older, and this is true for most people, and you're going to go through it yourself, you're going to have a better view of yourself. Almost like you're seeing yourself in the third person. You know how you play video games first person shooting all the time? Playing a third person shooter is completely different, because now you got your whole body in frame. You see what it looks like when you crouch. I think as human beings, we gain more of that perspective as we get older in life if we're reflective enough. And what I used to believe at 21, I no longer believe now at 32, just because life's experiences and my own reflections realize, like, that's not true at all.